Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
You've got two teams in Florida Atlantic, number 7 in the AP Top 25, and Memphis, number 19 in the AP 25, that are on a collision course here in the AAC. Funny enough, they're not going to even see each other until February, so they're gonna get real fat and happy in the AAC, stacking up some wins before they do. But Matt, obviously, we'll start with you. When you sort of look at these two teams, FAU kind of comes in replacing Houston as that top spot. How close are these two teams right now, in your opinion?
John, you know the deal. Memphis is really good. Okay, I can't just sit here and get on my FAU soapbox. I mean, Memphis is really, really good. I mean, their only two losses are to Ole Miss and Villanova. You look at how Penny's scheduled. He's got wins over Arkansas, Michigan, at Missouri, at VCU, at Texas A&M, Clemson, Virginia, and Penny stacked his schedule, and those guys are really, really good. Okay, Jones has been outstanding, getting 20 a game. Quinterly's been unbelievable, almost 5 assists per game. And you look at these two teams, and I would put them against anybody in the country. And we know what FAU can do. I think the thing with FAU is we haven't seen them at full strength yet. You got Elijah Martin coming off an injury. He missed basically 2 months leading up to the season. And then Nick Boyd goes down. He misses 5 games, and he only played, I think, 12 minutes versus Arizona. But the most impressive thing is, and we saw this at the Field of 68 tip-off down there at FAU, was, they beat Liberty. Johnell Davis doesn't record a field goal, and he's out there celebrating his team's success. Nick Boyd plays 12 minutes versus Arizona. He's the first guy off the bench to run over and hug Johnell Davis after that ridiculous performance that he's had. So that, to me, and I sound like a broken record on this show, that's culture. And that's what separates FAU in terms of Memphis a little bit in this situation. Why I would give them the slight edge is just because I've seen them more, but I also witnessed those players celebrating each other's success. But make no mistake about it, Memphis is for real. Penny Hardaway, in his 6 seasons as a head coach, has grown. He's developed. I was pulling up his numbers as an NBA player because I was a huge Magic fan. And when Shaq left the Magic, I was devastated because that was the closest NBA team to my house. And, his NBA career, in terms of him being a head coach, of course, he's taken things away from the NBA. But you also have to learn who you are. You have to learn who your culture is. You have to learn how you're going to manage your staff and who do you want around you and things like that. And he's learned that. And that team is for real. I mean, that is a Final Four caliber team in this AAC. It's going to be fun to watch. I mean, it really is. John, I don't know if is that game at home for FAU in February? Is it a weekday game? Do you know?
I think it's, I always get this confused. I think it is there, though. I think it is there, the first one.
Okay.
But
if it's a weekday game, because if it's a weekend game, I'll either be in studio or have a game for NBC. But if it's a weekday game, we may get you to come down here, and me and you are going to to go watch that game together. We're going to sit right next to each other. I may be coming up there.
Yeah.
Hey,
first one's
I'll,
here.
I'll add this. I think the difference who wins the league is I think they both win at home. I think they're that close. I mean, that's a coin flip either way. I think they split at home, and who avoids a slip up in conference play at UAB, at Tulane, or somewhere? Who slips up? I think that decides who wins the AAC. I think it's that close. I mean, John, I called the Memphis UVA game and blown away. And Matt, you mentioned that FAU hasn't been fully healthy. Well, hell, Memphis is getting Tomlin. They just added Tomlin like 2 weeks ago, right? So you're talking about another really good player being added to that lineup, which has size, which has length, it has depth.
Yep.
That team is really, really, really good. And if those they're teams that I can't even say they're sneaky picks to get, to maybe reach Phoenix, because if you've watched them play, you're not surprised. Obviously, FAU went there a year ago, and you know how I feel about Dusty May. I've said they're the most connected,
Yep.
fun group of guys. Watch the most unselfish group of kids, like watching college basketball, and they're fun to watch. And I've said that when they play that way, they don't care who gets the shot. They just want to get the right shot, and that is something that's incredibly hard to teach. With Vlad Golden in his side, I don't think he ever gets enough credit for what he does for that team. And the coaching you mentioned before, just a credit to them, what they've done. But I think this is the best Memphis team that Penny has had. And their length, their athleticism, they got a guy, they got a closer. It's just, to me, being honest, I think it's going to boil down to they're going to win at home, and then who can avoid a slip up on the road. Because the only massive difference in that, I think, is just, is Memphis can struggle from behind a 3-point line, where they go on the road and someone zone them or something like that for 40 minutes and they just don't make shots. Can they avoid that slip up? If they can avoid that, this thing will be it's a toss up.
It's a coin flip. I totally agree with RC on that. I think it's a complete coin flip. I think the thing with FAU too is, as you look at Vlad Golden, who's been one of the best front court players in the country up to this point in the season, Elijah Martin and Johnell Davis, you got 3 all-league caliber players. But then you have Greenlee, Nick Boyd, Gaffney, Weatherspoon, Giancarlo Rosado, Brennan, Lorient. Man, those guys, they would be superstars at a lot of different programs in the country. And it seems like, I don't think Greenlee gets enough credit for how he's played up to this point in the season. And Gaffney is showing what he can do. And Nick Boyd makes the layup against Memphis last year to beat them in the NCAA tournament. That's the thing with FAU that's so impressive is, those 3 guys are all league caliber players. But that next group of guys, man, those guys could be averaging 30 minutes a game at the majority of schools across the country, and they all buy into their roles. And that is extremely impressive about this team.
Man, look, I'm gonna be honest. I get shit basically from Memphis fans because I've been talking really highly of FAU since the season started. Every time I tweet about FAU, they tell me go cover FAU, move to Florida if you love them so much. I've had great respect for them. And man, when you get down the way they got down against Arizona was shooting them out the gym. And it says a lot about them and their experience and their toughness. They were able to claw back in that game and obviously win it. Even if they would not have won it, they were back in it. I thought said a lot. I'll say this, fellas. As far as this season goes, I think either of these teams can win the whole thing. I really believe that. I don't think there's a super dominant team. We know what Purdue's sort of demons when they get to March. I think it is not out of the realm of possibility that they're just complete, man. And now Memphis adds Tomlin, as RC mentioned, and he's going to get better than what he showed against Vandy. He's going to start to acclimate. I think this is Memphis's best team since John Calipari was on the sidelines, since 07-08. Because they have everything licked. They have the All-American scorer. They have the point guard. They have the big man. They have, really good depth pieces in Malcolm Dandridge and Nick Jourdain. I think the same is true of FAU. If we looked up in 3 months and either one of these teams is there in the end, it would not be a shock to me at all. And as a matter of fact, fellas, this is where it comes in. I'm this thing in the vault. Okay. I'm going to do it. Memphis is going to be in Phoenix. All right. Memphis is going to be in the Final Four, and I'm putting it in Vaulted. Vaulted's an app that allows you to participate in daily cash prize pools without an entry fee. It's the place to store your own bold predictions forever. And by using the Vaulted Challenge feature, you can prove that you are smarter than your friends. So go download the Vaulted app and give it a try for free. Vaulted is spelled VLTED, and it is the app to challenge your friends, store your predictions, and join daily cash prize pools without any entry fee. Download Vaulted today. Do you have any? Do either of you have any issues with that opinion that obviously Memphis specifically, but that either one of these teams could win it all? That's a big statement, but I truly believe that.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.